Springfield inches closer to generating funds for a new convention and event center. Tonight, the City Council held a public hearing on adjusting the city's budget. Now, if members approve the change in 2 weeks, the city would use $30 million from the Spring Forward half-cent sales tax revenue as a local match to the $30 million that's being offered by the state of Missouri for the project. And then in November, Springfield voters will decide whether to increase the city's lodging tax to raise millions of dollars for the convention center. Springfield City Council members voted unanimously to update the city code on nuisance properties. Changes include things like switching the wording from automobiles to vehicles, adding specifications for tents and tarps, and also a clear declaration that property owners are responsible for managing overgrowth. Another unanimous vote removes a limitation on how many events can serve alcohol downtown, on Walnut Street, and on Commercial Street each year. The bill allows alcohol to be served at designated control zone areas during specific festivals like the Arts Fest, the birthplace of Route 66 Festival, and Cider Days. Before the vote, the bill was amended to increase the percentage of alcohol allowed in beer served at those events from 5% to 8%.